What would you do if the people you raised, the people you sacrificed everything for, looked you in the eyes and said you don't belong in your own home? On a cold September afternoon, that's exactly what happened to me. My own daughter looked at me and said, "Stop pretending like this is your house, you're useless." In that moment, something inside me broke, but something else woke up. I sold my house for $1.32 million, packed 2 suitcases, and walked away from everything I built with my own hands. But before I left, I placed one simple box on the counter, and what was inside it changed everything for them forever. And before we go deeper into this story, if you've ever been disrespected by the people you love, or felt unappreciated in your own home, this story is for you. Drop a comment right now and tell me, where are you listening from? And if you believe respect should never be forgotten, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real-life emotional stories like this. My name is Eleanor May Whitaker. I'm 71 years old, and I raised my daughter with these 2 hands, fed her before I fed myself, stood between her and every hard thing this world tried to throw her way. And still, one afternoon, she looked me dead in the eye and made me feel like I was already gone. I lived in a quiet street outside Tulsa, Oklahoma. Big front porch, white railings, wind chimes that sing every time the breeze rolls through. This house wasn't just walls. It was my life. My husband, Harold, and I built it piece by piece. Not with money, we didn't have much of that, but with time, sweat, and a whole lot of love. He passed 6 years ago. Cancer. Took him slow, then all at once. 42 years of marriage, and I still set out 2 cups some mornings before I catch myself. That kind of love doesn't leave clean. It lingers in everything. So when my daughter Vanessa called me crying one night, voice shaking, saying rent had gone up again, bills piling, Kyle barely getting work, I didn't even think twice. I said, "Baby, come home. Your mama's got you." And I meant it. With everything I had left, they moved in. Vanessa, Kyle, and my little angel Lily. The first? Oh, it felt like God had answered a prayer I didn't even know I was praying. That house breathed again. Lily's laughter in the hallway. Vanessa humming in the kitchen. Even Kyle fixing little things around the house like he cared. Vanessa used to hug me tight and whisper, "Mom, we're so lucky to have you." And I'd smile like a fool and say, "Family takes care of family, baby." But somewhere along the way, that thank you turned into silence. And that silence, it turned into entitlement. By the second year, Vanessa stopped asking, she started expecting. Groceries just appeared in the fridge, because I bought them. Lights stayed on all night because I paid the bill. Kyle got comfortable, real comfortable. Feet up, remote in hand, talking about his house rules like I wasn't sitting right there. And me? I stayed quiet, because I kept telling myself, they're just going through a phase. They'll come back to themselves. They'll remember who I am to them. But they didn't. Now let me tell you about the day my heart cracked open. It was a Sunday afternoon in September. Sun was soft. Breeze was gentle. I had been in the kitchen since morning, slow cooking pot roast the way Harold loved. Even now, I still cook like he's coming home. Funny how grief tricks you like that. We were sitting outside. Vanessa scrolling her phone. Kyle half listening, half living somewhere else. And I said, real simple, "I'm thinking about taking a painting class at the community center. Just something small. Something for me." Vanessa didn't even look up at first. Then she sighed. That kind of sigh. The one that makes you feel like you've already done something wrong. She looked at me, eyes sharp, voice colder than I'd ever heard it. And she said, "Mom, are you serious right now?" I blinked. "What do you mean, baby?" She shook her head and laughed. "You're 71 years old. You don't work. You don't have responsibilities. You just exist here." I felt that, right here in my chest. But she wasn't done. "Oh no, She leaned forward and said, "Let's be honest. You don't really do anything anymore. So why are you acting like you need hobbies? What's the point? What's the point?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because how do you explain your worth to someone you gave your whole life to? Then came the part that broke something in me. She looked at Kyle. He nodded, like they'd practiced this. And she said, "We've been talking. And honestly, Mom, it's time you stop pretending this is your house." My ears rang. "I'm sorry, what?" Kyle sat up, finally giving me his full attention. "Eleanor, we live here. We're raising Lily here. This is her home now. Her home." I felt my hands start to shake. Vanessa kept going. "You're just holding on to it out of habit, not because you actually need it." I whispered, "I built this home with your father." And she said, "Dad's gone, Mom." Just like that. No softness. No pause. Like she was erasing him with a sentence. Then she hit me with it. "You're stuck in the past. And honestly, it's exhausting living with someone who's just waiting to die." That did it. That one right there. It didn't just hurt. It cut deep. Kyle added like he was doing me a favor. "You should sign the house over to us. Move somewhere smaller. A senior place, people your age." People your age. Like I wasn't sitting right in front of him, breathing, hearing every word. I looked at my daughter. My baby. The one I used to rock to sleep when she had nightmares. And I said, barely holding my voice steady, "Vanessa, do you hear yourself?" She didn't even hesitate. "Yeah, and for once I'm being honest. You're not the center of everything anymore, Mom." That was it. That was the moment. Not when she asked for the house. Not when she dismissed my life. No, it was when she made me feel like being her mother meant nothing. I stood up slowly. My knees felt weak, but my heart? It felt like it was turning into stone. "I'm going inside." I walked through that house, past the kitchen where I fed her for 18 years, past the hallway where she took her first steps, into my bedroom, closed the door. And that's when it happened. I broke. I sat on the edge of the bed, grabbed Harold's old shirt, and I cried. Not quiet tears. Not polite tears. No, the kind that come from somewhere deep. The kind that shake your whole body. "I carried her for 9 months," I whispered through sobs. "I gave her everything, everything." My voice cracked. How does a child forget who her mother is? I looked around that room, at the life I built, and for the first time, it didn't feel like home. It felt like a place I was being erased from. "They don't see me anymore, Harold. I'm still here, but to them, I'm already gone." I cried until my chest hurt, until my eyes burned, until there was nothing left to come out. And then, something changed. The pain didn't disappear. No, it settled, turned into something colder, sharper, clearer. I wiped my face, sat back in that chair, and I said out loud, "All right, if I don't matter, then let's see how they do, without everything I've been giving them." That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't need to, because by morning, I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was done. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a minute. I sat in Harold's old recliner, the one with the faded blue fabric and that little tear on the arm he always said he'd fix next weekend. Funny thing is, that chair held more comfort than the people in my house ever did. The house was quiet. Too quiet. But not peaceful. No, it was the kind of silence that comes after something breaks. I kept hearing her voice in my head. "You don't do anything. You're just waiting to die." 71 years of living. And that's what I'd been reduced to. Around 3:40 in the morning, I stopped crying. Not because the pain was gone, but because it had turned into something else. Something steady. Something dangerous. Clarity. I leaned forward, grabbed my notebook, and started writing. Not memories. Not feelings. Numbers. Every grocery bill. Every electricity payment. Every doctor visit I covered. Every dollar I handed over when Vanessa said, "Mom, we're just a little short this month." "Oh, baby," I whispered to myself, flipping through old bank statements. "You have no idea how much I've been doing." By sunrise, I had pages, and pages, and pages. Rough total? $287,000. And that wasn't even counting the house itself. I sat back, looked at that number, and for the first time, I didn't feel used. I felt awake. Monday morning, at exactly 9:05 a.m., I made a call I should have made a long time ago. Margaret Ellis speaking. "Now, Margaret, that woman don't play." Sharp voice, sharper mind. We went to church together years ago. She became a lawyer, and let me tell you, she eats situations like mine for breakfast. "Margaret," I said, calm as still water, "it's Eleanor Whitaker, and I need my house back." There was a pause. Then she said, "All right, start talking." I told her everything. Every year. Every dollar. Every word Vanessa said that Sunday. When I finished, Margaret didn't rush. Didn't comfort. She just said, "Eleanor, do they have a lease?" "No." "Have they paid rent?" "Not once." Another pause. Then legally. They're guests who forgot to leave. I closed my eyes. Let that sink in. "Guess. Can I sell the house?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. "You can sell it, list it, or hand it to a stranger tomorrow if you want. That deed has your name on it, not theirs." "And eviction?" 30 days legally, but I recommend 60. Not for them, for you. Keeps everything clean. Clean. I nodded even though she couldn't see me. "Draft it." She exhaled slowly. "You sure about this, Eleanor?" I looked around that house. The same walls that heard my daughter call me useless. I've never been more sure about anything in my life. That afternoon, I didn't sit around feeling sorry for myself. No, ma'am. I got to work. Laptop open. Glasses on. Receipts spread across the table like evidence in a courtroom. Line by line. I built a record. Groceries, $1,200 a month. Utilities, $500 average. Insurance, maintenance, repairs. Lily's school fees. Kyle's temporary loan for tools. Vanessa's emergency dental work. Every small favor added up. And when I included estimated rent for a 3-bedroom house in Tulsa, that number climbed to $462,000. I stared at that total for a long time. Then I whispered, "And I'm the one who does nothing?" I didn't cry this time. I printed every single page. 'Cause soon, they were going to see me. Tuesday, Vanessa walked into the kitchen around noon. Coffee in hand. Didn't even look at me. "You used the last of the creamer?" That's what she said. After everything. I looked at her. Really looked. And for the first time in years, I didn't see my daughter. I saw a stranger living off my kindness. "No," I said calmly. "I didn't." She sighed, annoyed. "Well, someone did." I nodded slowly. "Probably the same person who's been using everything else in this house for free." That got her attention. She frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I folded my hands on the table. Voice steady. "It means things are about to change." Kyle walked in right then, keys in hand. "What's going on?" I looked at both of them. No anger. No yelling. Just truth. "You'll find out soon enough." And I stood up. Left them there. Confused. For the first time, they didn't have control of the room. Wednesday, Margaret called. Paperwork ready. Notice drafted. Everything legal. Everything tight. "All you have to do," she said, "is hand it to them." Simple. But not easy. That night, I stood in the hallway outside their bedroom, letter in my hand, heart beating steady, not fast, not scared, just resolved. I could hear them laughing inside, talking about a weekend trip, using money they didn't earn, living in a house they didn't build. And for a second, just a second, I remembered Vanessa as a little girl, running into my arms, calling me Mama, like I was her whole world. My hand trembled. Then I heard her voice again in my head. You're just waiting to die. My grip tightened. No, I whispered. Not anymore. I knocked, and everything was about to change. I stood there, outside their bedroom door. That envelope in my hand felt heavier than it should have. Not because of the paper inside, but because of everything it meant. I knocked. Inside, Vanessa's voice. Yeah. I opened the door slowly. They were both on the bed, laughing, scrolling, comfortable, like life was just working out for them. Vanessa looked up first. Her smile faded a little. What's wrong? Kyle didn't even sit up. Just glanced at me. Everything okay? And I realized something in that moment. They weren't expecting anything. Not consequences. Not change. Not me. I stepped inside. Closed the door behind me. Yeah, I said calmly. Everything's about to be just fine. Something in my voice made Vanessa sit up straight. I held out the envelope. Open it. She frowned. Mom, what is this? Open it. She took it slow, pulled the paper out, started reading, and I watched it happen. That color leaving her face. Not dramatic, not loud, just draining. Mom! Her voice cracked. What is this? Kyle sat up now, took the papers from her. Read faster, harder. Then he looked at me. Eyes sharp, voice raised. You're evicting us? I didn't flinch. I'm giving you 60 days to find your own place. Vanessa shook her head like she didn't hear me right. No, this has to be some kind of joke. It's not. Kyle stood up. Now he was trying to use size, tone, pressure. Eleanor, you can't just do that. This is our home. I took one slow step forward, looked him dead in the eye, and said, No, this is the house you've been staying in for free. Silence. Heavy. Vanessa's voice broke. Mom, why are you doing this to us? That question, that audacity. I let out a small breath. Not anger. Not anymore. Why? I nodded slowly. You really don't know? She didn't answer. So I said it. Clear. Sharp. Unforgettable. Because on Sunday, you looked at your mother and told her she had no purpose. Her eyes filled instantly. But I didn't stop. You told me I don't matter. In a house I paid for. After years of feeding you, housing you, carrying you. Kyle tried to cut in. Look, we didn't mean it like. I raised my hand. Just a little. But it stopped him cold. No. My voice dropped. Low. Controlled. You meant every word. And for the first time, I believed you. Vanessa started crying now. Real tears. Mom, please, we were just stressed. And I was just useful. That hit hard. I reached into my robe pocket, pulled out a folded stack of papers, and placed it on the bed between them. What's this? Kyle asked. I smiled. Not sweet. Not warm. Homework. Vanessa picked it up with shaking hands, flipped the first page, then the second, then the third. Her breathing changed. Fast. Uneven. What is all this? I tilted my head. That is what I've been doing all these years. Kyle grabbed the papers, looked at the total, and I watched his entire attitude shift. $462,000? I nodded. That's groceries, utilities, school fees, your truck, your tools, your little vacations, all the things you never had to think about, because I did. Vanessa covered her mouth. No, no, that's not. It is. I stepped closer. That's the price of a mother who does nothing. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't confusion. It was realization. Kyle ran a hand through his hair, trying to recover. Okay, look, we can fix this. We'll start paying rent. Whatever you want. I shook my head. Slow. Final. No, you won't. Vanessa looked up. Why not? And that's when I said it. The line that ended everything. Because the house is already going on the market. Dead silence. Kyle blinked. You're selling it? I already spoke to a realtor. Vanessa's voice came out small. You wouldn't. I leaned in just enough so she could feel it. You told me I had no purpose. A pause. Well, this is me finding one. She broke. Mom, please. Where are we supposed to go? I straightened up. Looked at her, not cold but no longer soft. The same place you expected me to go. That landed. Deep. Kyle slammed the papers down. Frustrated now. Angry. You're going to put your granddaughter out on the street? And that right there. Almost got me. Almost. But I held my ground. No. I'm going to let her parents finally act like parents. Vanessa sobbed. We can't afford that right now. I cut her off. You've had almost 4 years with no rent, no bills, no responsibility. Step closer. Voice firm. If you're still not ready, that's not my failure. Silence. I turned toward the door. But before I left, I stopped. And without looking back, I said, you have 60 days. A beat. Use them wisely. Then I walked out. Closed the door. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel small in my own home. I felt like the owner again. That night, they didn't laugh anymore. Didn't talk much either. Whispers. Arguments. Panic. And me? I sat in the living room, sipped my tea, and listened. Not with satisfaction. No. With peace. Because the truth had finally been said. And once truth walks into a room, nothing stays the same. The house felt different the next morning. Same walls. Same furniture. But the air? Heavy. Like a storm had rolled in and decided to stay. Vanessa didn't come into the kitchen like she usually did. No complaints about coffee. No sighs. No attitude. Just silence. Kyle left early. Didn't say a word to me. Didn't even look my way. Slammed that front door like it owed him money. And me? I stood at the stove, flipping eggs. Like nothing had changed. Because for me, everything already had. Around 10:30 that morning, my phone rang. This is Carol Jennings with Red Oak Realty. Now Carol? That woman sounded like she could sell ice in a snowstorm. Confident. Quick. No nonsense. You still interested in listing your property? She asked. I looked around my kitchen. The sunlight hitting the counters Harold helped install. The table where my daughter once did her homework. And I said, list it. No hesitation. No emotion in my voice. Just decision. Carol didn't waste time. Given your location, size, and condition, we're looking at around $1.25 million, possibly higher if we move fast. I nodded to myself. Move fast. We'll start with private showings. Keep it quiet. Serious buyers only. Good. Because I wasn't trying to make noise. I was making an exit. By that evening, Vanessa finally came to me. She stood in the doorway of the living room, arms folded, eyes red, but her voice still had that edge. So you're really doing this? I didn't look up from my book. Yes. A long pause. You're choosing strangers over your own family. Now that line right there, that's manipulation dressed up as heartbreak. I closed my book slowly, looked at her. No, Vanessa. I held her gaze. Steady. I'm choosing myself, for the first time in years. She shook her head. Frustrated. You're being selfish. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, but because of how familiar it sounded. Selfish. I repeated softly. Then I leaned forward just a little and said, you lived in my house for free, ate my food, used my money, and told me I had no purpose. A beat. And I'm the selfish one? She didn't answer, because there wasn't an answer. That night, Kyle tried a different approach. He walked into the kitchen while I was washing dishes. Quiet. Too quiet. Look, Eleanor. I didn't turn around. We got off on the wrong foot. I kept scrubbing. We can fix this. We'll pay rent. Real rent. Starting now. I rinsed the plate. Set it down. Then I said, you had 4 years to do that. He stepped closer. Trying again. We didn't realize. I turned this time. Looked him straight in the eye. Exactly. That one word? It shut him down faster than shouting ever could. 2 days later, the first buyers came. A young couple, dressed sharp, walking through my house like they could already see their future in it. Vanessa didn't like that. Not one bit. She cornered me in the hallway. You're letting strangers walk through our home now? I corrected her. Calm. Precise. My home. That hit. Kyle tried to interfere during the showing. Started pointing out issues. Tiny scratches. Old fixtures. Anything to scare buyers off. Carol shut that down immediately. Sir, unless you're on the deed, I suggest you step back. Oh, I liked her. The buyers still smiled. Still nodded. Still saw value. And when they left, I saw something in Vanessa's face I hadn't seen before. Fear. That night, the house wasn't quiet anymore. It was loud. Arguments behind closed doors. Blame flying back and forth. This is your fault. No, you pushed her too far. What are we gonna do now? And in the middle of all that chaos, I sat in my room, folding clothes into a suitcase. Not rushing. Not panicking. Just preparing. Because while they were scrambling to hold on to something, I had already let it go. Later that night, I sat on the edge of my bed, Harold's picture in my hands. You always said I was too soft, I whispered. A small smile touched my lips. Well, I think I finally learned. I looked around that room, at the life we built. I'm not losing this, Harold. My voice steadied. I'm choosing what's left of it. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was surviving. I felt like I was starting over. By the end of that week, the house didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a countdown. Every step in the hallway, every door closing, every whisper behind my back, it all sounded like time running out. And me? I moved through it like I was already somewhere else. Friday morning, 8:12 a.m. My phone rang. Eleanor. Carol's voice came through, bright but measured. We have an offer. I didn't react right away. Just stood there by the window, looking out at that old oak tree in the front yard. How much? I asked. A small pause. Then, $1.32 million. Cash. 45-day close. I closed my eyes. That house. 40 years of life inside it. Memories in every corner. Reduced to a number. And somehow, that didn't hurt anymore. When can we sign? I asked. Carol smiled through the phone. I can be there in an hour. Make it 30 minutes. Because I wasn't hesitating anymore. Carol sat across from me at the kitchen table. Papers laid out neat and clean. Vanessa stood in the hallway. Watching. Not speaking. Kyle paced. Restless. Carol slid the pen toward me. Once you sign, we're officially under contract. Picked it up. My hand didn't shake. Not even a little. Because the truth was, I had already let go of this house the moment my daughter let go of me. I signed. And just like that, It was done. Vanessa rushed forward the second Carol left. You sold it. Her voice cracked through the house like glass breaking. Kyle wasn't far behind. Eleanor, what the hell did you just do? I stayed seated. Calm. I accepted an offer. Vanessa's eyes filled instantly. You didn't even talk to us. I looked at her slowly. You didn't talk to me either, remember? That hit. But she kept going. We live here. You can't just throw us out like we're nothing. I stood up now. Slow. Controlled. And said, that's exactly how you made me feel. Silence. Kyle ran his hands through his hair, frustration spilling out. Okay, enough of this. Let's be real for a second. He stepped closer. Tone changing. We messed up. Fine. We said things we shouldn't have said. But this is too far. I didn't respond. So he tried again. We can fix it. We'll pay rent. We'll contribute. Just cancel the sale. I shook my head. It's done. Vanessa stepped in front of me now, tears falling freely. Mom, please. That word. Mom. She hadn't used it like that in a long time. We need you. I looked at her, really looked, and quietly said, no, you needed what I provided. Her face crumpled. That's not true. I stepped closer, voice softer now but stronger than ever. If you needed me, you would have respected me. That broke something in her. Kyle wasn't done. No. He changed tactics. His voice got harder. You realize you're screwing us over, right? I raised an eyebrow. Excuse me. He stepped closer. Too close. We don't have time to figure this out. You're putting us in a bad situation. I didn't move. Didn't step back. No, Kyle. My voice dropped. Cold. You put yourselves there. That's when his mask slipped. This is messed up, Eleanor. After everything we've been through as a family. I cut him off. Don't. One word. Sharp. Final. Don't rewrite the story now that you don't like how it ends. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. That night, while they argued in the other room, while panic started turning into desperation, I sat at my desk, and I pulled out a box. Not big, not fancy, just a plain cardboard box. But what I put inside, that was going to say everything I didn't need to repeat. Page by page, I stacked the printed records. Every dollar, every receipt, every quiet sacrifice. On top of it all, I placed a letter. I didn't rush it. Didn't write out of anger. I wrote it out of truth. 'Cause sometimes, truth cuts deeper than any yelling ever could. I folded it neatly, placed it inside, closed the box, and set it on the kitchen counter, right in the center, where they couldn't miss it. Before going to bed, I stood in the kitchen, lights low, house quiet for once. I looked at that box, then around the room, and I whispered, it's all there now. A small breath. No more pretending. Because by the time they opened it, they wouldn't just understand what they lost. They'd understand why. The house was quiet that morning. Too quiet. Not the peaceful kind. No. The kind of silence that comes when people are thinking things they don't want to say out loud. I was already up. Dressed. Suitcase zipped and resting by the door. The box sat right there on the kitchen counter. Center. Waiting. I didn't touch it. Didn't move it. Didn't explain it. Because some things don't need explaining. Vanessa came in first. Hair messy. Eyes swollen. She stopped when she saw it. What's this? I poured myself a cup of coffee. Calm. Open it. She hesitated. Just for a second. Then she walked over. Lifted the lid. And everything changed. At first she didn't understand. Just papers. Stacks of them. What am I looking at? Kyle walked in behind her. Still irritated. Still defensive. What now? Vanessa handed him the top sheet. He glanced at it, then frowned. What is this? Some kind of list. I took a slow sip of coffee. That, I said quietly, is the last 4 years of your life. Vanessa started flipping through pages. Faster now. Eyes scanning numbers, dates, descriptions, groceries, utilities, school fees, medical bills, car repairs, loans, every single thing. They never had to think about. Her breathing changed. Mom, this can't be right. Kyle grabbed a page from the middle, then another, then the final one. And that's when he saw it. The total. $462,000. He went still. There's no way. I finally looked at him. There is. Vanessa's hands started shaking. You kept track of all this? I nodded. Someone had to. She swallowed hard. We didn't know. And that? That right there? I felt it. But I didn't soften. Exactly. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Unavoidable. Kyle noticed the envelope sitting on top. What's this? Read it. Vanessa shook her head. I don't think I can. Then listen. Picked it up. Opened it. And for the first time, my voice carried everything I hadn't said. Vanessa. Kyle. This box holds the truth you never bothered to see. Every dollar. Every sacrifice. Every quiet moment I chose you over myself. Vanessa started crying again. But I kept going. You asked me what I do all day. This is what I did. I kept your lives running while you forgot I existed. Kyle looked away. Jaw tight. I never asked for the money back. I never asked for recognition. I asked for one thing, respect. My voice steadied. Stronger now. And somehow that was too expensive for you. Vanessa whispered. Mom, please. But I didn't stop. The house is sold. You have your time to leave. And I am leaving too. That made her look up. Leaving where? I folded the letter slowly. Somewhere I'm not invisible. Silence. Vanessa broke completely. I didn't mean it like that. I was just stressed. Please don't go, please. She reached for me. For the first time in years. She reached. And I stepped back. Not angry. Not cruel. Just done. Kyle's voice came out low. So that's it? You just walk away from your family? I looked at him. Long and steady. No. A small pause. I walked away the moment you both decided I didn't matter. That shut everything down. Vanessa sank into a chair, crying into her hands. We messed up. I nodded. Yes. She looked up. Then let us fix it. And that almost broke me again. But I held the line. Some things don't get fixed, baby. My voice softened just a little. They get understood too late. Nobody spoke after that. No more yelling. No more blaming. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes when the truth has finally been heard. I picked up my coffee, walked past them, and for the first time, they moved out of my way. The morning I left, the house didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt empty. Not in a sad way. No, in a finished way. Like a book you finally close after reading the last page. I woke up before sunrise. Habit. Some things never leave you. The kitchen was quiet. No footsteps. No voices. No tension sitting in the air. Just me. And the soft hum of a house that no longer belonged to my life. My suitcase stood by the door. 2 of them, actually. That's all I took. Clothes. Documents. A few photographs. And Harold's old ring hanging on a chain around my neck. I didn't take the furniture. Didn't take the dishes. Didn't take the memories either. Because memories don't live in houses. They live in you. Vanessa's door was closed. Kyle's too. I stood in the hallway for a moment, looking at those doors. I thought about knocking, saying one last thing. giving her one more chance to call me Mom the way she used to. My hand even lifted. Halfway. Then I stopped, because I finally understood something. If someone only sees your value when you're leaving, they never really saw you at all. So I lowered my hand, turned around, and walked away. No goodbye. Just truth. The cab driver was a young man. Didn't ask questions. Didn't make small talk. Just drove. And I watched my neighborhood pass by the window. That oak tree in the yard. The mailbox Harold fixed 3 times. The porch where I used to sit and wait for Vanessa to come home from school. All of it. Slipping away. And you know what surprised me? I didn't cry. Not a single tear. Because I had already cried everything out. Days ago. Weeks ago. Maybe even years ago. Airports are strange places. Everybody's going somewhere. Everybody's leaving something behind. I fit right in. Ticket in hand. Phone turned off. Not because I was angry, but because I was done being reachable by people who only remembered me when they needed something. I sat at the gate, watching planes take off. And for the first time in a long time, I asked myself something simple. What do I want now? Not what Vanessa needed. Not what Kyle expected. Not what the house demanded. Just me. And the answer? Peace. Hours later, when I stepped off that plane, the air felt different. Lighter. Warmer. Like the world had been waiting for me to show up. Small town. Coastal. Quiet streets. People who didn't know my past. Didn't expect anything from me. To them, I wasn't Mom. I wasn't Grandma. I wasn't the one who pays for everything. I was just Eleanor. And that felt new. The apartment wasn't big. Didn't need to be. Small kitchen. Simple bedroom. A little balcony that caught the morning sun just right. I set my suitcase down, walked to that balcony, looked out, and took a deep breath. No noise. No pressure. No one calling my name from another room asking for something. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that heals instead of hurts. I placed my hand over Harold's ring. Well, I whispered softly. We made it. And for the first time in years, I smiled without forcing it. I slept. Really slept. No tension in my chest. No thoughts racing. No replaying conversations in my head. Just rest. Deep. Peaceful. Earned. And as I drifted off, one thought stayed with me. I didn't lose my family. I found myself. Life in the coastal town had a rhythm I didn't have to fight anymore. Morning sun on the balcony. Simple coffee. Slow walks by the water. People who smiled without asking for anything in return. For the first time in years, my days didn't feel like survival. They felt like living. I didn't think about the old house much anymore. Not because I forgot, but because I finally stopped reopening the wound. Then one afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Almost. But something told me to. Hello. A small pause. Then, Grandma. My chest tightened instantly. That voice. Even through distance. Even through silence. I knew it. Lily. A soft, shaky breath on the other end. It's me. But Mom says I'm supposed to say. I'm not allowed to call you without asking. Silence. Not heavy this time. Just careful. Then I said softly, Are you okay, sweetheart? Another pause. Then, Mom cries a lot now. I closed my eyes. Didn't interrupt. Dad gets mad a lot. They don't talk much anymore. Her voice dropped. Smaller. I miss when we all lived together. That line didn't hurt like before. Just existed. I sat down slowly on the balcony chair. Lily. Yeah. I need you to understand something. A quiet breath on the line. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. Silence. I left because staying meant I stopped loving myself. She didn't respond right away. Kids don't always understand big truths immediately. They just feel them slowly. Then she asked, "Are you happy there?" I looked out at the ocean, the sun catching the water like it was breathing gold. And I didn't hesitate. "Yes." A pause. Then softer. "Good." Then she added quickly, "Mom says she's sorry, but she said I shouldn't say that." I smiled a little. Not bitter. Not sad. Just understanding. "Lily." "Yeah. You don't need to carry grown-up apologies." A small breath. "Okay." Then she said something quieter, almost like she was afraid to say it too loud. "Can I still talk to you sometimes?" That question. That was the one that mattered most. Because it wasn't about control, or guilt, or fixing the past. It was just love trying to find a safe place to exist. And I answered, "Always." When the call ended, I didn't feel pulled backward. I didn't feel trapped. I just felt connected. In a different way. A healthier way. Love without sacrifice of self. I sat there for a long time, listening to the waves below, letting everything settle. Then I whispered, "Harold, she found me." And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was the one who got left behind. People think starting over means losing everything. But I learned something different. Starting over means finally understanding what was never yours to carry. I'm still Eleanor May Whitaker. Still a mother. Still a grandmother. Still someone who loved deeply. But now, I'm also someone who knows where she ends and where other people begin. And that changes everything. Because peace isn't when everyone finally understands you. It's when you finally stop needing them to. Sometimes the people you sacrifice everything for don't recognize your worth until you stop overgiving. Respect in a family isn't automatic, it has to go both ways. Loving others doesn't mean losing yourself in the process. True peace comes when you set boundaries, even with family, and choose self-respect over constant sacrifice. And in the end, walking away from disrespect can be the first step toward finally finding your own life again. I really appreciate you taking the time to follow this story till the end. If you enjoyed it, stay tuned for more emotional storytelling like this. Your support means a lot.